Hi, I'm Jake from JacobTubeHD. Welcome back to the movie I want to talk about. The show that never ceases to stop finding weird devices that shouldn't realistically exist, but they do. I walked by this guy who was running a candy stand. I gave him $5 for the candy because I was hungry. I didn't question the legitimacy of his business as long as it had no razor blades in it because I want to keep these teeth. He did tell me that if I ate it, I would randomly swap bodies with people throughout the day if I was ungrateful for my life. He also said he was a wizard from the future and the person who made the candy was high when he produced it. So who knows what's real with those guys? I do remember someone similar though from about like 40 episodes ago who said the exact same thing to me. I've already swallowed the candy whole, so whatever happens, happens. It was some good shit though. It tasted delicious. I probably shouldn't eat candy from strangers, but I don't care. If it tastes good, then why not? That's bad advice, but it's on brand with the show. It's the 50th episode. Who gives a shit? I'm tired. I have strange candy in my system. I trust a wizard from the future, and I review movies in my bedroom every week. I don't care anymore. I probably scared off any kid that watches the show anyway, so my bad advice means nothing. Who's gonna stop me when I'm in this state of mind? Nothing can touch you. When you've done the same thing for 50 weeks straight, I'm fucking invincible. You know, I think that candy is kicking in because shit feels weird. My body's feeling all shaky and I'm not right in the head, but that last part is usual because I'm never right in the head.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about my McDrugger Dream for Protect. I'm in someone else's body. That's pretty cool. Judging by the pink walls and this McDrugger Nuggets merch, I must be in my friend Kelly's body. That's really great. She has way more subs than I do. And all she does is react to one YouTuber and read comments every couple months. Why didn't I think of this? I could have easily had over 800 subs, but instead I decided to do a weekly movie review series that requires lots of editing. I could have way more views if I just react to one YouTuber. Anyways, I should probably focus on getting back into my body instead of rethinking my career choices. Maybe review a movie would get me out of this mess. I know there's some movies that are relatable to this situation, and they all have the same name, so that won't be confusing at all. Also, Kelly reviews movies, so I guess this is a win-win. This is Freaky Friday. This one is about Annabelle being hassled by her mother, Miss Andrews, who is annoyed with her daughter. They each think the other has an easier life, and wishes they could live each other's lives for a day. The wish comes true as they swap bodies and have to learn the difficulties of each other's life. This was Disney's first go at a Freaky Friday story, with Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris in the main roles. This film is written by Mary Rogers, who wrote the original Freaky Friday book in 1972. I'm surprised, but a Freaky Friday film from the 70s holds up very well. Our two leads are fun to watch in these swap roles. I wish we got to see a bit more of the characters before the swap happened. We get a few minutes of exposition dumping before they swap bodies, and they talk about an argument they had the night before, but we never got to see it. They just talk about the people, and that's when the swap happens. I wish we got to see more of the characters in the argument before the swap because I feel like I could have connected better to them. The other characters are fine. There's not a lot to them besides them helping the two leads learn the film's lesson. There's not much story besides the characters switching bodies and experiences they in the life of the other. You pretty much know how it's going to play out and resolve itself. There's not even an explanation on how they swap bodies besides it was Friday the 13th. The scenarios the characters go through are pretty entertaining, even though some of the stuff is unrelatable because a lot has changed from the 70s. It's a fun film that could have been fleshed out a bit more. Freaky Friday gets 3 out of 5 big hamburgers. It's fun to get views using someone who has a bigger name than you, but I should be getting back into my body now. I don't know how this works or how to control it, but I think you just have to manifest back into your body. I believe if you tell the world you want to be back in your body, it will happen. That's how manifestation works. You say shit and shit happens. It's the perfect cheat code for life. It never works in my favor, but it will this time. I see people manifesting things all the time. I want to as well. A guy can have dreams, you know, and mine is to get manifestation to work.
I think manifestation is bullshit. I'm in the body of my friend Trevor, and not my own. You know what? This is fine. This is 100% fine. I have no problem with being in someone else's body instead of being back in my own. And actually, Trevor's body's not a bad one to be in. I do know he hosts a game show. I've always wanted to host a game show. I think I could take Steve Harvey's job. I'm great at making people feel like dumbasses, which is essentially Steve Harvey's job description. Also, he did a show about weird fun facts, which qualifies him to review movies. Don't ask me how that qualifies him to review movies. I am desperate to get out of this hell, and maybe reviewing films will work since Disney made another Freaky Friday movie almost 30 years after the original. So, don't judge me. This is Freaky Friday. This film's about Anna, who is a guitarist for a punk rock band, and her mother, Tess, who is a successful author and psychologist. Anna and Tess don't see eye to eye, but one fortune cookie changes everything by switching their bodies. Now, they have to learn the struggles of each other's lives as they have to live each other's life. This is the most well-known Freaky Friday movie, starring Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, after I came up with the idea for this episode, it was announced by Lindsay and Jamie that a sequel to this film is in development, with both of them set to return. Normally, remakes aren't better than the original, but apparently that's not the case when you're a Freaky Friday film in 2003. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are standout performers in this film with fun and incredible chemistry. I really love in that film that we see the mother and daughter interact with each other even after they swapped bodies. In the 70s film, the mother and daughter barely had any screen time together and were separated for the entire movie. Here, they're helping each other survive a day in the other person's shoes, and even though they do have their moments separated from one another, it's nice seeing the two helping each other out and becoming closer because of it. It also is just so fun seeing them interact with one another when they share the screen time together. The scenarios that both characters get into this film feels much more relatable than the ones in the original, and they feel much more true to the experience of a teenager and an adult instead of the original film scenarios just trying to be too hard to be funny. The supporting characters are fun to watch, but Lindsay and Jamie steal the show, performing as their characters and the other person's character. Obviously, the story here is exactly the same as the 70s film, but this movie has its own unique way of telling this story that allows you to connect with the message more than the previous incarnation. Another thing that this film has done better than the 70s one is that we have something that causes the body swap, which is the fortune cookie. Instead of the day on a calendar causing a body switch to happen, we have a fortune cookie, which is at least somewhat reasonable. The film also has a great soundtrack, including a lot of punk rock music, including music from Lindsay Lohan herself and the band her character is a part of. This movie feels so much more relatable when it connects you even deeper to the message, unlike its 70s counterpart. Freaky Friday gets a 4 out of 5 Cribs Keepers. That has to be it, right? Those are 2 Freaky Friday movies, so it's time for me to go back to my actual body. You know, I never thought I would actually miss my body, but this feels weird, and I want it to end. My body sucks, and even if I'm missing it, then you know I mean it. My body's fat, has bad vision, and bad hearing, and I still want it back. My body's pathetic, but anything is better than being jolted around other people's bodies. So when I'm ready, whenever you want to send me back to my own body, anytime would be great, please.
You've gotta be kidding me. How the fuck did I get into Hayden's body? I reviewed all the movies and Hayden has put me through hell on multiple occasions. She ruined my Halloween. She ruined my Christmas. Even though she made me grow as a person during that. But who cares? I don't want to be in a body that's constantly obsessed with Elf, Trolls, or anything adult cartoon related. There's so many other movies I want to love. But since I'm in Hayden's body, I have to be obsessed with Elf and another movie I haven't even heard of. I thought my plan would be foolproof. I would review every Freaky Friday film and then be back in my body. I reviewed them all, and now I'm in Hayden's body. What gives? Oh, I think I'm in Hayden's body because the Disney Channel one counts as a Freaky Friday film. How was I supposed to know Disney Channel movies counted? I know I've reviewed straight to streaming movies and shitty YouTuber films, but I really have to do a decom. You know what? I need to get out of this body as quickly as possible, so I guess I have to review a Disney Channel movie to finally get back into my body. This is Freaky Friday. This film is about Ellie and her mother, Catherine, not seeing eye to eye as Catherine's wedding is approaching. Thanks to the magic of Ellie's father's hourglass, they switch bodies and have to live each other's lives to learn about how each other struggles. This one is a Disney Channel original movie starring Cozy, who actually follows me on TikTok, and Heidi. So this one is a musical with original songs throughout the film, since this is an adaptation of the Freaky Friday on stage musical, because Freaky Friday needs a musical for some reason. Every other movie has been on Broadway, so why not Freaky Friday? This is definitely a musical version of the 2003 Freaky Friday film, but that doesn't make it good. It's obviously trying to imitate what the 2003 film did by copying a lot of elements from it, but the new additions just make the film weirder. These weird elements come from the actual on-stage musical, so it at least does a good job at bringing the stage show to life. One of these weird elements is the thing called the hunt everyone in the school is doing, which is a giant scavenger hunt. It doesn't really make sense, but in the last film I reviewed, Anna was in a band, which would have translated perfectly into a musical for Ellie's character, but instead we have songs about biology and a weird scavenger hunt across the city. The chemistry here between our leads is fine, but not nearly as exciting as Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis were. One thing I found weird about Ellie here is that she has no reason to hate her brother in this film. In the original, it's because he's a goody two-shoes, and in the 2003 film, it's because he's annoying. Here, it's because he's a weird nerd that's into magic. It makes no sense to me. The story is the same as the other films because they're all the same story, but like I said, it borrows story elements from the 2003 film, which is fine, I guess. But the scenarios on the teenage side of things are somewhat relatable, but I don't know how many adults who are designing and hosting their own wedding. They're trying way too hard to be relatable to independent women who run their own business and a Gen Z teenager, and sometimes it can get things right, but most of the time these characters are for an average person to relate to. The songs here are fine, as this is the only way they express the emotions of this film to get you connected to its message. They're not the best songs Disney Channel has had to offer, but they're not annoying like other Disney Channel songs. This musical take on the story is too weird for my liking, but it can still emotionally resonate with people despite some interesting liberties it takes. Freaky Friday gets a 3 out of 5 teachers who don't notice giant musical numbers in their class. I'm done. I did all the movies. There is no more Freaky Friday films made by Disney until that sequel with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis gets made. I am so done. Please switch me back. Please, 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 please.
Yes, it worked! I'm back in my body. Just to solidify it, I love being in my body and I appreciate my life. I enjoy making the show every week despite how much work it is, and my life is great even though the people I swap bodies with probably have better lives than mine and definitely have healthier bodies than mine. I also have to solidify this by doing an overview of all 3 films that I reviewed but didn't actually review because, I did it in other people's bodies. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, it's weird that this hell ended before the overview, because usually I have to do an overview to end the hell that I'm going through. You know what? I don't want to ruin a good thing, so I'm just going to do the overview. Also, I know I don't do this before overviews, but I just want to hear this come out of my mouth. This is Freaky Friday. Yeah, that felt good. Very natural, too. Yes, these are all the same story told in 3 different decades, but all 3 of these films tell the story in their own unique way. And even though I did these reviews through different people due to the predicament I've been in, all my thoughts have remained true. Each of these films show the struggles of teens and adults, bringing a stronger bond between a mother and her daughter. Some of these films do a better job than others, but the story of people literally spending a day in someone else's shoes will always remain something that people can connect to with the right comedic moments and the right chemistry. My favorite one is the Freaky Friday film from 2003 because it had the perfect elements to show the beauty of this story's message. Perfect chemistry between the mother and daughter, fun supporting characters, and scenarios relatable to any teen and adult. My least favorite is the Freaky Friday film from 1977 just because it makes the least sense and feels like a vehicle for comedic moments instead of something that people can genuinely relate to. I think we're good now. I'm back in my body, the candy is wearing off, I reviewed 3 movies, and I've gained a greater appreciation for my life just by simply being out of my body. I didn't even experience a day in their lives. I was just in their bodies for a few minutes each. You know what? A lesson learned is a lesson learned, I guess. You know, I wonder what happened to my own body when I swapped bodies with people. Okay, that's a stupid question, because since I was swapping bodies with Kelly, Trevor, and Hayden, they were probably in my body, and I feel bad for them. You know, I don't think they've done anything bad to my life while they were in my body, so we're good. Surprised Hayden didn't do anything evil to make me review a film she's obsessed with. Anyway, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's fully hit me that this is the 50th episode, which is a crazy number. I've done this for 50 weeks straight. I celebrated an episode milestone by swapping bodies with my friends. I'm starting not to like these episode milestones. People died in episode 10 because I spun a Twister Hoopla spinner, and now I swap bodies in episode 50. I'm scared of other episode milestones. Like, what's gonna happen during episode 100? That's a big milestone. Is something going to happen to me that's worse than swapping bodies with my friends? You know what? I don't even want to think about that. What's important is that everything is fine, and I want to explore what life is like being 19, because my birthday was a couple days ago. You know, most people look forward to turning 18, but I wanted to be different, so I'm hyped about being 19. This age doesn't change anything, but I want to act like it does.